Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, I'm going on a solo vacation and MIL thinks this means we're getting a divorce. MIL bashing me on the book face. I survived. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I'm going on a solo vacation and MIL thinks this means we're getting a divorce. Brief background: my husband and I have been living with his parents for 2 years. FIL and MIL are classic narcissists who think of nothing but themselves. It's been so stressful and emotionally exhausting. We are not financially able to move out right now, so I have been trying to just grin and bear it. I need some perspective on this because I'm far too emotionally involved in this situation. It's been a difficult few months at work and in my life overall. I booked a New England hiking/exploration trip for myself next week. My husband couldn't get the time off work and wasn't really interested in coming along anyway, and that's totally fine. I traveled alone a lot before we were married, so this is not unusual for us. Nor is it unusual for a married couple to spend leisure time apart every once in a while. One night last week, I told MIL about my plans, just to let her know that I won't be at home for a few days. She acted pleasant in the conversation and asked me why I chose New England. I said that my family is from that region and I wanted to some time exploring, and then I joked that I also wanted to get away from husband. MIL laughed along with me, and then told me she hopes I have a good time. Saying I wanted to get away from my husband was very obviously a joke, or so I thought. Husband and I share a tiny bedroom in the house and we spend all of our time together these days, between carpooling to work to save on gas money or spending the night in because we're both too tired from work to go out. And MIL knows all of this. Well, the next morning, my husband and I are both working from the house and MIL was at work. She called him, and when he picked up, I heard she ask if he could find somewhere to speak privately. I immediately knew this was about my little joke. I left the room, and when I came back, he recounted their whole conversation to me. In the past, I have asked him to not tell me things she says about me, but this time I made an exception because I felt like I just had to know. She asked him many questions about why I was going to New England and wanted to know exactly what I will be doing there, which is weird because I already told her when I'd be doing there. Then she asked repeatedly if we are doing okay and if we were having any problems. Husband kept saying no, that she was overreacting, that I'm just going on vacation by myself and there's nothing more to it. Then she asked him if this means we're splitting up and getting divorced. He shut that conversation down and repeated that there was nothing going on and to drop it. I have sensed for a while now that MIL does not like me, but I have to live with her, so I have tried my best to be cordial while also keeping my distance. Every interaction with her is like pulling teeth, and no matter what I do or say, she is never happy with me. I am blindsided at her interpretation of a joke, or maybe this is wishful thinking on her part? I also feel hurt that she felt the need to call my husband and basically tattle on me and tell him exactly what I said. I have barely seen her since this incident happened, and I just don't know how I am going to be able to interact with her civilly after this. I do a lot of biting my tongue these days, trying not to react when she says or does hurtful things. But questioning my marriage because I'm going on well-deserved vacation? Come on. You said give it to me straight, so I'm going to. It sounds like MIL is pumping her son for information about your relationship so that she can have more to criticize you for. She doesn't care whether you stay together. From what you describe of her attitude, she probably hopes that you won't. For this next bit of advice, keep in mind that this is coming from someone whose philosophy about shared housing is that I'd be happier living in my car than living with someone who treats me like shit. If you have money enough to go on vacation, you have money to set aside for a security deposit on an apartment. If I were so financially desperate that I had to go live with my MIL, who is mostly mildly NO and only occasionally an actual just NO, my life would be laser focused on acquiring the money I needed to GTFO. Vacation time? Awesome, that gives me more time to hunt for a better paying job. What's your escape plan? Because it sounds like you need a more aggressive one for the good of your relationship. Remember, every day you live with MIL is another day she has to whisper shitty things about you into your DH's ear. When I finally opted for sleeping in a room separate from my husband, after nearly 30 years of poor sleeping due to snoring, different sleep schedules, and him always being too warm while I froze, my MIL was absolutely convinced we were going to divorce. I've had a separate room and bed for over 15 years now, and we're still married. Some women simply cannot conceive of a wife who doesn't want to spend every moment possible with their husband. I've gone on a few separate vacations, too, and we both enjoy the break. I'm in my middle 60s, so it's not a case of a young wife rethinking her relationship. Time apart can be a wonderfully restful thing. Everyone needs me time. Too bad I was in my 50s before I let myself have it. I know you want to share your exciting vacation news, have your MIL's approval, etc., but shut that down now. Info diet. She only wants information to use against you. She will not be happy for you, so stop trying. I say this for your own mental health. Good luck. She was hoping you would get divorced. Her leading questions and assumptions are projecting her real feelings and wishes. Does she wish y'all were divorcing? Maybe. But unless she says to you wives come and go, mothers are forever, actual quote from my MIL to husbeast, it's really none of your business what she thinks about your marriage. Ignore her and enjoy your vacation, while your husband ignores her and works. P.S. Maybe you're feeling bad because your joke came from truth? Don't. Everyone needs breaks from each other, including people who are happily married. Thank you. And LOL, wow, I am so sorry your MIL said that, what an insane sentence. The minute I said it, I knew I had messed up, but because she laughed with me I thought she understood. He needs to tell her his marriage is none of her business cause it isn't. If she wants to jump to conclusions, potentially hurting herself, that's her problem. Thanks. My husband is also working through his own feelings about his mother and I'm supporting him but also trying to let him work through it by himself for the most part. We did talk about this and made a plan that next time she says something like this, he immediately shuts it down. Save up and move ASAP. You living with her gives her a sense of entitlement to butt into your lives. I would be nice, but reserved for the rest of your time living with her. She's obviously reading deeper into things because she dislikes you. Thank you. Nice, but reserved has been my go-to personality around her for the last year or so, right when it started to click that she's not going to like me no matter what I do. We are saving aggressively for a house and we are both trying to get better, higher paying jobs. It is just taking longer than I thought. I think this is a lovely opportunity to let your MIL know that there are no private conversations between her and yourself or DH. IMO, those are privileges and she can't handle the responsibility clearly. MIL bashing me on the book face. Y'all, I'm so angry right now. So as you know, we've gone and see with JustNoMil but we've given her the option to apologize and fix her behavior, and if she can do that, we'll give her another chance. Tell me why I wake up and check my phone, open Facebook, and DH's aunt has reposted a 2-paragraph long status about me from JustNoMil's Facebook. I deleted JNMIL a while back. She reposted it so I'd see it. At her prehistoric age. Acting like a child all over the internet. Essentially saying that I'm not accepting her for who she is, I'm negative energy, and have no common sense. YALL, I am at a loss for words. What in the world is wrong with our MILs? I've never been so manipulated in my life and it's making me feel crazy. I'm so hurt that I can't even get a proper apology and now this, like for real? What have I done wrong besides ask for respect and an apology for the messed up stuff she's done? Well, at least you are clear she has no intention of apologizing and behaving better. Guess her FB post makes NC easier for you and DH. Hard to imagine this level of aggression. She was wasted. She has a drinking problem and gets aggressive when she's drunk. She posted it in the hope that you'd read it and feel bad. You did and you have, so she got her spiteful little revenge on you. The correct response is to thank DH's aunt for bringing it to your attention that her sister has decided that she'd rather have the last word than have you in her family, and ask her not to mention anything else that MAL puts on Facebook or anywhere else unless there is some immediate legal significance to it, talking about GPR, CPS, etc., etc. And then go back to ignoring that silly, selfish woman and let her take what satisfaction she can from having her spite for company in her old age instead of her family. MIL is just fishing for a response from you and DH, even if it is to rip her a new one because any contact beats what she has now, which is nothing. Just ignore her and go about your life. You know what she's like and you've taken steps to insulate yourselves from her. The ball is in her court now, and this is her reaction. Proof positive you did the right thing. If DH's aunt is acting as MIL's flying monkey, it's time to block her as well. The less you see of this crap, the more peaceful your lives will be. Let her make her delusional rants on FB. You know the truth, and so do those close to you. Wanted to add, even contacting the aunt will count for her. JustNoMil now knows that so long as the hurtful thing is seen, she'll get a reaction. Remember, the fact that MIL had to post that garbage, and aunt had to repost, means you're bothering them a lot more than they're bothering you. Laugh at the ridiculousness of the whole thing, block aunt and go do something fun that MIL's stupidity is making her miss out on. If I'm reading this correctly, WTF? Delete the aunt. I mean, she reposts the MIL's weird personal tirade? Who does that? If there's others like this aunt, delete them too. You don't need these weirdos in your sphere. I regret I have but one upvote to give. When someone doesn't care enough to react, that is the worst kind of torture you can give to the instigator who cares. I'm not saying it's easy, but it eats them up worse when you can't be bothered with them and their feelings. They want to matter to you. At first you can fake it, but the best place to be is when you truly do not care, when they don't occupy your thoughts. I don't think this can be forced, but you can work on it, and it eventually happens. Spot on. It would kill MIL if she doesn't get a reaction. Be done. Consider this a clear, unrefutable sign that she is not a person to welcome in your and your family's lives. She had the option of apologizing and taking responsibility for her actions, and she doubled down. Your response should be no contact and block her and AIL on everything. I survived. I just survived my first visit with the in-laws since before the pandemic, 3 years. I have no problem holding my own, and I even called her out more than once when she was FaceTiming with her youngest, 24. For the third time on a freaking Thursday he said to her on speaker, "Isn't it their bedtime at 3 p.m., which tells me they talk sh*t about the fact that my kids have normal bedtimes. They are obnoxious for so many reasons, but today I just want to say how weird I think it is that they SOB, like cry and cry when they show up to visit and then when it's the end of their visit." My husband is 36. Today when we said goodbye they sobbed, and as we drove away from their Airbnb they held each other, crying in the driveway while we drove away. We moved away from TX to FL, thank God, and I've been able to stay away from them with the pandemic as an excuse, but I will tell you that when we lived in TX they would freaking pop in every other weekend and still cry like this when they would visit. WTF? It's so weird to me. I can't stand it. Those are some awfully big tears. Must be past someone's bedtime. LOL. Not overreacting. They sound awful. I'm glad you live far away. I hope you can go another 3 years without a visit? Or perhaps have lots and lots urgent errands that need to done during the next visit. It is weird, very. You could start sobbing as soon as the visit begins, LOL. Yikes. I can't imagine having to watch such a gross display every time. Sounds like the sobbing might be performative. I think it's more than weird. WTF are they crying for? On the regular? LOL, I'd start doing the Irish exit. Not overreacting. This is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever read on here, and I've read some seriously ridiculous things. The Irish goodbye is always a handy classic. That is so weird. I wouldn't trust myself not to start laughing. I would stare at them and wouldn't say a word. Should we send cases of wine for you to numb the pain of the next visit? Congratulations on survival. Maybe prepare confetti pops or such to celebrate when they start to weird fake cry. Gee, that is weird AF. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.